Okay, so now we're going to talk about shocks in this model. Remember that the key thing was that the entrepreneur has some wealth that came from the savings of, the wage he had times the amount of labor they supplied. So if entrepreneurs can work more or they get higher wages, then they will get more wealth. Now, these wages are, it's always a fraction of the output of the economy, which remember has inside this productivity term. So if there is a positive productivity shock in the economy, you can see that people are going to have more wages, and also entrepreneurs are going to have more wealth. And the other key equation was this one, that the labor endowment of all the economy was just equal to 1. This is a normalization. So entrepreneurs had this endowment, which together with the endowment of non-entrepreneurs, the savers, was equal to 1. Now remember, we said the two key things here were that whenever the entrepreneurs were more wealthy, then they had more money of their own into their projects, so they needed to borrow less with respect to the total investment, and because of that, it was less likely that they were not able to repay, so they were more solvent, and thus agency costs went down. This P went down. Now, whenever the expected future price of capital increased, that means that they had more expected profits in the future if they invested, and that means that they would be more likely to repay because they would have more profits. This intuitions come in handy when we have, as before, a positive productivity shock. So basically, this positive productivity shock increases output, and when output increases, the wages also increase because the wages, a fixed fraction of output go into wages. Now remember, the higher the wages, the higher the wealth of the entrepreneurs. So the more they can put into their own project. And remember, as before, this would lower the agency costs because they would be more solvent. So this positive productivity shock can be seen as a shift outwards of the supply curve. So this goes up like that, and this means that we were able to to invest this amount before, but now we're investing this amount here. So basically, the decrease in agency costs boosts investment, capital in the next period is so much higher, and then also output in the next period is going to increase because of this. So this amplifies the effect of the productivity shock, increasing output by more. This is the effect of the accelerator. So a little recap: positive productivity shock, higher output, which means higher wages, which means that the entrepreneurs will have higher net worth, higher wealth. They need to borrow less, and they're more solvent, so then agency costs go down, and that allows capital investment will go up, and then capital in the next period will go up, which means that there will be more output in the next period, and the shocks that originated at T of productivity will persist and be amplified over time. Now imagine we have another case. We have a redistribution of the labor endowment from lenders, from the entrepreneurs to the lenders. So the labor of the entrepreneurs goes down. That basically means that the wealth of the entrepreneurs is going to go down because they're able to work less. Now, since they're less wealthy, they have to borrow more, but since they have to borrow more, there's more chances that they will not be able to repay in the bad state of the world, so the agency costs increase. So that means that we have to audit more, and then this will all go up, meaning the investment in the future will go down. So in this case, the the negative shock they got to their savings because they are able to work less will be a negative shock in the supply, which will reduce the amount of investment in the future. This is basically the new KT plus 1 that the economy will have because of the reduction in the wealth, the decrease in solvency, and the increase in agency costs. So the basic intuition of Bernanke and Gertler is that whenever there is a wealth shock, whenever there is something, either technology of labor that changes, that affects the wealth of the entrepreneurs, that is going to result, in the case where the wealth goes up, that means that entrepreneurs have to borrow less and are able to use more inside funds for their own firms, for their investment projects. So in this case, Bernanke and Gertler argue that markets will work more efficiently and there will be less agency costs. And then this will in turns accelerate the way the economy invests. So if there is lower agency costs, that means that more investment projects are undertaking, and that will result in higher output in the future, and they will amplify the shocks, make them more persistent. So that is how the financial markets can link shocks to the real economy.